of the slain and the captives from the long-haired enemy. This section is so misunderstood by a lot of translators that they're not quite sure how to translate this part. You see, translators are human beings. They're going to try to translate in such a way that they think conveys the scriptures the most clearly to us, and we are very thankful for that, right? But this one is one that was really confusing. The best way to translate this one is just to translate it just completely literally. The translation I'm reading from did that fairly well. Just translate it completely literally. Let the reader study it for themselves. Okay? So it literally says, and the captives from the long-haired enemy. I only know of one place in the Bible that talks about a long-haired enemy that has captives. And recall, these captives are part of ones that get slain at Jesus' second coming. It says, my sword shall devour flesh with the blood of the slain and the captives from the long-haired enemy. These captives from the long-haired enemy, therefore, are also unsaved people. But they're being captives to something called the long-haired enemy. We studied this, but it's been a while. Let's go back to Revelation chapter 9, because that's where the answer lies. And when we studied Revelation chapter 9, recall that we studied that there was demonic creatures that were literally flying out of the pit of hell. Yes, and you remember, Eric and I, we had an AI generate an image of what these creatures might look like, and we passed around that picture. Okay, so this is recalling us back to there. So let's do a brief review here just to refresh our memories, and then we'll make this connection. So Revelation chapter 9, we're going to read verses 6 through 10. And that says, and in those days people will seek death, but will not find it. They will long to die, but death will flee from them. In the presence, the locusts were like horses equipped for battle. On their heads were what looked like crowns of gold. Their faces were like human faces. And then check out verse 8. Their hair like women's hair. This could pass as a long-haired enemy. And their teeth like lions' teeth. They had scales like iron breastplates. And the noise of their wings was like the noise of many chariots with horses rushing into battle. They have tails like scorpions with stingers. And in their tails is their power to harm people for 5 months. Recall, these demonic creatures were only allowed to harm, he even called torture, to sting only people who were not saved, only non-Christians. And the reason why I call this torture is because when these people got that sting, it was very excruciatingly painful. Looks like it lasts 5 months. And we see that they couldn't escape the pain. We see from verse 6, it looks like they were supernaturally immortal for those 5 months. They could not die to escape the pain, indicating likelihood then that no medical intervention would get rid of the pain, because this pain's coming from a supernatural source. This pain's coming from a demon. This is coming from something that has access to more dimensions than we do. It sees and operates in more things than we can see or understand. So this is a pain for these unsaved people who get stung that they have to deal with for 5 months. An excruciating pain. They want to die to get away from it, and they can't even die to get away from it. Wouldn't that make them captives to this demonic, long-haired enemy?